Jackie Kitchen. I am one of 2 assistant city managers with the city of Bakersfield. It is my great honor to welcome you all here and to also thank you for taking time out of your busy days this morning to help us celebrate this major accomplishment. Please join me also in welcoming Mayor Go, members of our City Council, members of our Citizens Oversight Committee, the Executive Board of the Bakersfield-Kern Regional Homeless Collaborative, members of the leadership team for Mercy House, our service provider partners here from Kern Medical, Kern Behavioral Health, and Kern Human Services. And we also have representatives with us today from California Water Service, who provided meaningful donations to help ensure that this project was completed on time. So as many of you know, over the last several years, our community has recognized the need to address homelessness in Bakersfield. In January of this year, the City Council took action to purchase this 70,000 square foot facility, which was the home of the Calcott Cotton Cooperative for over 70 years. The city began that purchase process in just February of this year, and we closed escrow in June. Since that time, we have worked with our fellow homeless service providers, our new operator, and many others to establish best practices, finalize the design of this facility, and to undertake a complete renovation of this former warehouse and office complex. Over the last 6 months, both city staff and private contractors have dedicated literally thousands of hours into this conversion of this facility into a full-service homeless navigation center that will offer meaningful services that will inspire genuine change within our community. I'm glad to say that we are delivering this project on schedule and literally working till the last minute. As you can see, we have a few final touches left to complete prior to our opening on Monday. I also want to provide a special thank you to our Public Works Director, Nick Fidler, who has co-managed this project with me from design through construction. I also want to thank you. Yes, let's give Nick some applause. I also want to thank our Recreation and Parks Department, and I believe Director Diane Hoover is here today for all of the great work on the aesthetics outside of this facility. And I also want to thank Timothy Nguyen with Mercy House, our operator, and all of the other city staff for all of their contributions that have helped get us here today. The Brundage Lane Navigation Center, or the BLNC as we call it, demonstrates our community's commitment to making a difference in the lives of those here in Bakersfield. We're very excited to show you the progress that we've made in a relatively short amount of time today. Again, thank you for joining us today. We will now hear from City Manager Christian Clegg, Mayor Karen Go, and Councilmember Gonzalez. We will then hold a ribbon cutting and offer guided tours of the facility. With that, I'd like to welcome Christian. There you are.
Thank you, Jackie, and also want to just thank Jackie and Nick again for tremendous effort on this project. As Jackie pointed out, homelessness has become a top priority of the city in a very short amount of time. Bakersfield's facing increasingly complex urban challenges, seemingly before we have a chance to really ramp up for them. Effectively facing the challenges of tomorrow means that we have to work in ways that we haven't before. I think there's good news related to this challenge. We have begun working in ways that we never have before, and this is an issue that we can still get in front of. Homelessness is incredibly complicated. It requires a full spectrum of services and partners and programs, and some of those programs and partnerships are still in progress. But first, we had to have the right foundation. We had to have the right partners who are in this challenge with us. Forming our collaborative, the Bakersfield-Kern Regional Homeless Collaborative, our continuum of care, was really that first step. So it's about working differently together than we ever have before. The BKRHC represents the services, the programs, and the coordination that it will take to get in front of homelessness. It's important to note that collectively, we are doubling the number of homeless shelter beds in this community in 1 year. Doubling in 1 year. And it's not just the city, I mean this as a collaborative. The city, the county, our Bakersfield Homeless Center, and the mission collectively coming together to make this happen. This strong partnership will allow us to do more than we could have ever done independently. We have the commitment and the will of the right people working together. We also needed some anchors or pillars on which to build out our service offerings and our programs. And this Navigation Center is going to be one of those pillars. This state-of-the-art facility, operated by an industry leader, will become a standard for doing this work and have a positive impact on all the other services and programs in this ecosystem of providing care for our homeless population. We still have many programs and needs to address, but this BLNC, as I noted, will be a pillar built up from this strong foundation of partnership around which we will continue to craft solutions for homelessness in our community. Again, thank you for being here, and thank you for the teams to put this together, and thank you for this partnership amongst many that's allowing us to get at homelessness in a new way. With that, I'll welcome up Mayor Karen Go.
Good morning. Thank you, Christian. Today is a day of hope. Today is a day of hope for our homeless brothers and sisters. Today is a day of hope for our community that's been impacted by homelessness. In April of 2018, when I traveled to Sacramento with mayors of other large cities, we were up there to lobby then Governor Jerry Brown for homeless funding. But we began our comments with this statement: combating homelessness in our society is a paramount issue, which requires bold action. Homelessness indeed today, in spite of COVID, is the #1 issue that requires our engagement as cities. And today is not only a day of hope because of a building. Today is a day of hope because as a community, we have the honor, we have the privilege of rebuilding lives. That is truly why we're here today. Homelessness is a tragic reality, which is frequently complicated by so many factors. But because we are joined together as a community, homelessness knows no neighborhood, no political boundaries. Homelessness is a community issue, and together, we have the honor of addressing that. Homelessness will not be solved solely by a building, but by our community coming together. This is a wonderful start of hope. But together in this building, we are going to rebuild lives by addressing the root issues, by addressing the issues of mental health, by addressing the issues of substance abuse with our community partners. This will be a start, a place of hope. But hope can be ignited here, but it will not be fully realized until we all continue to work on this issue together. Today is a day of hope because of community. Today is a day of hope because of community partners such as California Water Service. Cal Water, Tamara, and your team, thank you so much for your investment here in helping to expedite the process, in donating your staff time and equipment, and we say the same thing to PG&E, who could not be here today. EPA, thank you for providing the grant funding to help with the environmental review. And today all we asked for was particulate-free skies and blue skies. So hopefully you fulfilled that. San Joaquin Fencing, thank you for your generous donation also. Hope is being awakened because of our community partners. And we already acknowledge the partners of the collaborative. But I want to specifically say thank you to Russell Judd and Kern Medical for joining us. They're going to be inside. And then also Bill Bill Walker, thank you so much for the services of Bakersfield Behavioral Health and Recovery Services. We appreciate that very much. And Cindy Utes, where are you, Cindy? I see you back there. Thank you, Department of Human Services. But hope is going to be ignited and awakened because those agencies will be inside. And thank you also to our partners, our medical partners. And then I see Louis Gill and Carlos Valdivinos. Thank you all for joining together, Mercy House. We thank you. Today is indeed a day of hope. Staff, we can't thank you enough. Nick, Jackie, your investment in driving us towards this day, thank you so much. Today is a day of hope. We are our brother's keeper, and by us uniting, we can truly say Bakersfield is going to ring with the sound of something better. Thank you all so much for your participation today, and now it's my honor to introduce 2nd Ward Council Member Andre Gonzalez. Andre?
Thank you, Mayor Go, and good morning to all. I want to first start by thanking the nearly 200 city employees and contractors that contributed to this project today. A big thank you to the BLNC Construction and Finance Committee, especially Jackie Kitchen, Nick Bidler, Anthony Valdez, Sean Kakal, Robert Voiles, Bill Burns, Nina Carter, Randy McKeegan, Renee Williams, Gregory Pronovost, and Darren Budak. Let's give them all a big round of applause for their hard work in making this project happen. I also want to thank the citizens of Bakersfield. The citizens of Bakersfield who, through the passage of Measure N, made this facility possible. You know, we've been talking about homelessness and the rise in homelessness for years at City Hall. But it wasn't until Measure N passed and the voters approved the 1 cent sales tax that it gave us the real capacity to do things such as this. So I want to thank the voters today and the citizens of Bakersfield for making this significant investment. I also want to echo the remarks of the past speakers and thank those members of the Measure N Oversight Committee who are here today. Let's give them a round of applause as well. You know, beyond the police department and code enforcement, there are very few tools available to the city to address homelessness directly when we hear for calls for service from our constituents. So it requires a strong partnership with the County of Kern, and I'm very pleased that the city and county are partnering closer together than ever before. And I want to thank Kern County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services for your leadership. I want to thank all those within the county for partnering, not only in this facility, but also at M Street for that strong partnership. On behalf of the council, you know, it is essential that the city and the county continue to partner together to find the solution. So again, a big thank you to the County of Kern. Let's give them a big round of applause as well. So many people say that, and when I talk to people, they have a whole host of solutions for how to fix homelessness. It often seems so simple. It reminds me of that old expression that the further you are away from a problem, the more you can philosophize about it. The reality is that it's very complex, and there are many service providers here who can explain why it is so complex to resolve this issue for each individual who are experiencing homelessness. And many people say to the shelter that this is just a quick Band-Aid, nothing more than a Band-Aid, that we're not getting to the root causes of the issue. And to that, when I hear that, I say, you're right. It is a Band-Aid. But you know, when I get cut, I use a Band-Aid. Have you ever been cut before? I use a Band-Aid to stop the bleeding, but not only to stop the bleeding, but also to start the healing. And so for this facility to be here today is incredible, because our community is bleeding. Over 850 men, women, and children are sleeping on our streets every single night. Think about that. These are our neighbors. These are people from our community who have no place to go. And imagine how difficult it is to live on the streets, trying to protect all your belongings every single night, trying to protect yourself from being harmed, getting out of harm's way, trying to find a meal each and every day. Being homeless is not easy. It's a lot of hard work. There are 850 people on our streets experiencing that day in and day out. So we need to stop the bleeding for those individuals, and that's what this facility will help people do. It's a place where anyone, even if you have a pet, or if you have your possessions, or if you have a partner, can come, where they can stay as our guest and get a warm meal, store their belongings in a safe place, and get their bearings to find a pathway out of homelessness. And imagine how difficult it is, when people are on the streets and they're told to just get out of homelessness. Imagine how hard it would be to go to a doctor's appointment, or to get to the Social Security office on foot with all of your belongings, to make various different appointments all around the city, day in and day out. It's a hard task. But here in this facility, we will have all of those services in one place, making it easier for people to navigate out of homelessness and into permanent housing. So to those who say that this is just a Band-Aid, I say yes, it is a Band-Aid. We are going to stop the bleeding, we're starting the healing, and we're going to go further. The City Council approved over $7 million for permanent affordable housing for the citizens of Bakersfield just this fiscal year. So this is not the end, this is only the beginning. And we're going to continue the work, we're going to continue to bring hope, as the mayor said, to those who are experiencing much strife and difficulty. I want to recognize my colleague, Councilwoman Sullivan, who has been a strong supporter of homelessness services over the years and who has demonstrated lots of leadership as well. I want to thank her for being here as well. So I want to just end by saying a direct message to those who are on the streets and experiencing homelessness currently. That is that you are welcome here. And there are many of us in leadership and throughout the community who are dedicating ourselves to support you, to bring you out of homelessness, and to help you realize a better life. Again, thank you to those who made this facility possible, and God bless all those who are experiencing homelessness, and God bless our community. Thank you.
So as expressed by our speakers today, this facility represents so many things: collaboration, hope, support, and I really do think that this will be the sound of something better right here at the BLNC. And on the terms of support, I wanted to just quickly acknowledge my big support network. My husband, Chris, and my mom, Paula, are here today. So I'd just like to give them a hand for helping me through this process over the last year. We also have with us Chris from Senator Grove's office. Thank you so much for coming to represent Senator Grove. So now we will do a ribbon cutting, and then Nick Bidler and myself will lead the media on a tour of the facility, and Christian and Anthony Valdez from my office will lead the council members and